So the revs rise, the rev limiters are getting bounced there as the 400s get underway, and I think it's going to be our pole position man Luca Wilkinson who's looking to affirm his top place in this championship as they charge down to Redgate for the first time. Luca comes into this race with a 61-point advantage over Ollie Sims. If he can do the same again, he will be champion in this particular class as the lights go out, and away we go. Now, where's David Ball? I'm watching him. Yeah, he's sure enough skiving through the field. He did start there. He's up to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, or maybe into 10 actually, but he's going to quickly make it up as they go down through Redgate, Hollywood, and out of our sight for the first time. All right, that's an interesting view. Cool. Every angle covered there. All right, any last lap battles? That'll definitely give us the angle we need. All right, up towards through Schwantz and up towards McLean for the first time. They'll come back into our view. There we go. Now, is that Paul Whitby leading? It's a darker coloured bike, I think. I wonder if that is Paul. Or is that, no, that's got a white tail, that's Kev.
Yeah, Kev Wooley, that's Paul Whitby in second position, but coming into some pressure now, I think they're from what looked to be Mark Haig, but didn't quite find a way through, didn't Mark? So Paul Whitby holds on to that position as the first of the Formula 400s come back through. 3.8 seconds covering the 4 riders that are out there. Luca Wilkinson has 1.9 of those seconds as an advantage over Sean Crone, who is 3/10 of a second up the road from Jake Donkersley, and Archie Ormrod 1.5 behind Jake Donkersley as well. But here comes the YPMs. It's Kev Woolley who leads over Paul Whitby, Mark Hagan, Alan Cooper. So it was Alan Cooper who was trying to find a way through on Mark Haig at Coppice, but couldn't quite pull it off. And that is your top 4 ahead of that's Damien Lee, and then David May up next. David Ball is showing us making up 15 positions.
Yeah, because he started at the back of the grid, of course, because he fell, or something happened on the first lap. Not quite sure he fell off. He certainly rode back anyway. So he has made up a load of places, and he's putting himself back into contention because obviously he's desperately trying to hang on to the second place, at least the second place in the championship. Because at the moment, that second place is let's see, 42 points, 32 points even, sorry, behind Alan Cooper. So Alan definitely with the advantage there, but more critically as far as the second place goes is that Mark Haig managed to close the gap by 16 points, to bring it down to just 9 points. So that's where David Ball's main opposition is if he wants to take the second step. Obviously he'd dearly love to take the first step, as Luca Wilkinson is now in a position to win the championship here as well, because in the earlier race today he opened up the gap between himself and the non-scoring Ollie Sims to 61 points. So at the end of this with this race, there'll be 75 points on offer. So he needs basically a third place or better, and the championship is his, isn't it? If Ollie's not going to score, and Ollie is not on the track, so he can't score points.
Luke Wilkinson could also afford to not score in this one and still win it with only 50 available tomorrow.
Of course, it's 50 available. Yes, you're right. 75 at the end of this race.
So Luca needs to finish.
I love when you correct him. Your maths is getting better. Mine is getting worse.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, wait till you get at my age, son. Anyway, how's David Ball's progress going? Well, that's again, he's made up another couple of places. He's up to 9th place now.
Yeah, 4th position in class as well. So
yeah, sorry,
he's 1.8 away from Alan Cooper in front.
That's his main role. Well, also the club and Haig, he's okay in the overall championship as well. Whitby really is not going to worry anybody in the main championship. Paul Whitby's doing well there. So Mark Haig looking to pick up 16 points ahead of Alan Cooper, so he'll close that gap by 3, but you're right, it's Ball who really needs to do some moving along the way. In fact, as it stands at the moment, it's definitely advantage Haig over Ball, because if they finish the way they are, that means that the gap is going to get a little bit closer again. We'll wait and see at the end of it and speculate about it then. Fastest man on the track, unsurprisingly, Luca Wilkinson on that 400 is absolutely flying. He's opening up the gap between himself and Sean Crone now to 6 seconds. That is a big old gap after just 3 laps around this circuit, isn't it, Bradley?
Yes, certainly is. He's not hanging around, and neither is David Ball, because he's tucked in tight as he comes across the line. The lap time that time around was a 1 minute 19.2 compared to his fastest of a 19.0. But the men in front are all into the 18s, and that's the low 18s for the leading 4 YPM runners. What was the championship lead coming into this race? Sorry, Keith.
Coming into this lead for who, mate?
The YPM.
The YPMs, the gap, the championship lead was 32 points in favour of Alan Cooper ahead of David Ball, and then David Ball to Mark Haig is 9 points.
Mark Haig, 9 points. So at Well, it's going to get quite.
Let's worry about the end of the race. It's exactly what I said. I was trying to do the thing. Do you know what? It's not worth it because it could all change in a moment, couldn't it?
There's Luca Wilkinson. He still leads the way in the Formula 400s, and it's a 1 minute 17.009. So
you want to bring another second before the lap record takes a tumble. That's for sure. Cronin Donkersley next across the line. No change of place there. They're starting to drop Ormrod now, who's having a very lonely race. He's quite a way down. Wilkinson is setting is absolutely phenomenal, but here comes the big battle. Of course, that is the YPM battle, and once again we see Woolley from Whitby, then it's Haig, Cooper, Bull. Where is Bull? And it's the man in front of him who needs to beat Alan Cooper, 18.3 and an 18.2 for Haig. So I wonder if David Bull is guilty of over trying, which is very easy to do. It's not a criticism at all. Merely, and I'll have to wait and see if we get a who doesn't trip the timing beam. Well, there's two people not tripping the it's the timing beam coming good, sorry. Just waiting for a bit of a change.
Archie Ormrod hasn't come through.
Yeah, there we go. There's Archie. That's what I'm looking at there. Let's see if Mark Hay can take the fight to Woolley. Certainly he was quicker than him on the last lap there, only but we're talking fractions of a second here. But Mark Hay is definitely the coming man, but there's only 2 laps left as Ormrod coming into the pits there. It's a great shame for young Archie there as Wilkinson comes across the line to get the last lap flag indeed. So some of the slower YPMs now being used as back markers by the quicker 400s. Those guys are absolutely flying. I'm going to wait for Woolley to come back round and join us once again. Nobody doing anything special as far as the lap times go, which is unsurprising given how far into the race we are. But we're going to get the hurry up flag very shortly indeed as Woolley brakes hard now, comes out of the Robert chicane, tucked in tight. There is Mark Haig. Let's have a look at the lap times then. Woolley comes across the lap, 18.451, 18.552, so a little bit quicker than Haig, who passes Whitby, who does. Bull's having problems, mate, because look at that, 20.5, best lap at 90. I think his machine is not exactly 100%, and what a day for it to not be 100%. Moody goes past on Lee on that particular lap as well. Again, that's just a minor place, but hey, it's all points in the bag.
Coming out of Robert chicane then is the number 76, and I think Luca Wilkinson knows it. He's just been crowned the 2025 Formula 400 champion as he punches the air in sheer delight.
Well, it's another NW Racing tag. It's quite a few titles that Nick Weston has clocked up in that team there. Brilliant effort from Nick and everybody in that team there. So that's the 400 title, the Ninja title, and